Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of SMECO Connects. I'm Sonja Cox, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tom Dennison. And our guest today is the wife of one of our linemen. So we wanted to tell our viewers and listeners, let them know a little bit about what it's like to be the wife of a lineman. So if you would introduce yourself.
Sure. Yep. Hi, my name's Rachel Krim. My husband is Stephen Krim. He's a lineman in the Leonardtown area. We have been together. This is actually coming up on the 20th, so 8 days will be our 5-year anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
He
you.
better do something nice for you.
Well, it's also like beginning of the school year, and like, just that time frame is like crazy busy, but we'll make something special. But I'm a teacher. I teach at Dow in Southern Calvert, Dow Elementary. I'm a 3rd grade teacher. This will be my 10th year. Yep. But I took a leave of absence, not this past year, but the year before. And Stefan took twice as many overtime calls and picked up the ball game there when I got to stay home with our kids. We have 3 kids. We have a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so
great.
when I stayed home with them, they were 1, and the youngest ones were 1 and 3. If I did my math right there. So that was nice.
Yeah, Rachel, so you said you've been a teacher for about 10 years. So my wife is a teacher as well.
Okay.
And I know that this time of year, like end of August, it's sort of like dum, dum, dum,
I just got done
dum.
saying to my friend who's also a teacher, I was like, it's like a doom and gloom feeling. Like it just like hovers over you. Like it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
And I mean, it's very natural, I think. But it is funny how my wife is going on almost 30 years.
Okay. Awesome.
She was a classroom teacher. She now does English second language in
Okay.
Charles County. But everything just kind of ramps up at this point.
Yes.
Especially when you have kids. Like I have 2 daughters, so you've got back to school shopping, you've got getting ready for school, getting your room ready, getting ready for open house.
Yep.
Figuring out if you had to change your room or anything like that. So it's all part of the fun, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is fun because you get a fresh start essentially with new kids. Even if you're not changing classrooms, you change your classroom because we have to break down our classrooms every year for fire codes and cleaning and all of that. So you really just get to reset it up. It's nice. It's like a refresh and it's every year. And even if it is that doom and gloom, I say that, but
Yeah.
because I'm home with my kids all summer.
Right.
And I was just saying before I came in here, like, I actually had to like get ready for this interview and like and talk with you guys because you're like waking up late and
Sure.
and it's like 9:30. You're feeding the kids breakfast. I'm like, wait, we actually need to get our
Into
stuff
a
together and
routine.
get back into a routine. So that's where the doom and gloom is. But it is
Yes.
exciting because it's fresh start, new kids, and and no matter how much you don't feel like it in the moment, like you're making a difference in those kids' lives and doing
Absolutely.
what you're doing for sure.
Yeah, I agree. We ask you here to talk a little bit also about what it's like to be married to a lineman.
Yeah.
What does that mean for your family? And
It is interesting to say the least. And I knew I had an idea of what it was like prior to getting in a relationship with Stefan. And he would tell me he would go on call and he would say all of this stuff and I would be like, yeah, and didn't fully understand it until like 3 years into it that I was like, okay, he's on 7th call. That means in like 4 weeks I need to buckle down and really get my stuff together because I'm not going to see him for the next 3 weeks, because he'll say like, we're on this 13-week crew change. And if I'm on this, for the longest time, he would say he's on the crew truck and then he was on the service truck and he would always say that and I'm like, I don't know what that really means. But now I do. Now I totally understand it all now, but like really getting into it, like I had an idea of it, but it's a lot. It's a lot of for both of us, but for him stopping what he's doing, he gets a call, he's whatever it is that he's doing, whether it's climbing into bed and dozing off and he gets the phone call or, we're out. I mean, for the most part, he's prepped for it, but like we're out at a birthday party. He's like, oh, gotta go. So like we are in a good routine with it, but it's a lot of sacrifice, I guess, for your family.
Sacrifice and planning too, right?
Yes,
I mean,
for
everything just those weekends. I think about the guys a lot in the summertime. Those weekends where Saturday evening or whatever, and it could be really hot, and then you wind up getting a call for a bad underground or something, and it's going to be not just jump in the truck and be back in an hour or two. It's going to be throughout the night and that kind of thing. So, yeah, it is a tremendous sacrifice that they make, and I think it's also, from your perspective, also a sacrifice for you and the family, right? Because
sure.
has he ever had to leave while you all didn't have power at your house?
Yes. Yep. And in the beginning, we'd like make jokes, and I'd be like, "What? You can't fix our power before you leave?" And people would call him and be like, "Hey, are you going to come over and fix our power?" And at first, you go back and forth with it, but now it's like that. It doesn't work like that.
Sure.
Like, and I get it now. And there would be different things in the beginning too of and I say all in the beginning because I didn't truly know. And like
You don't know.
you don't know what you don't know, really.
Exactly.
Like you have a perspective of what it's like until then you're in it and you know. But like just people would make comments about like seeing the trucks sitting here or sitting there, and at first like I would be like, oh yeah, whatever, like when you're not in, when it doesn't mean anything to you. But now I'm like, you know what, that was probably like the only 30-second break that they got, or like they sat in their truck for an hour and ate their lunch or didn't even get their lunch, or just things like that really puts it into perspective that like you said, yes, it's sacrifices with your family, but they're making sacrifices for, did they even eat that day? Like last night, Stefan laid his head down at like 10 p.m. or 9:30, got called like 35 minutes later.
Oh.
Worked throughout the entire night. I had set my kids up for my mom to watch him today. Comes home because he timed out, and comes home this morning at 9:30, whatever the time frame was. That took me a little bit to figure out too. Like now I'm like, okay, he went in this time. He needs to max out at
figure
this
out the
time.
shift.
Instead
Yep.
of asking him, I'm like, all right, he should time out at this time, so he should be home. But sacrifices of sleep, like so, and he came home and he's with the kids right now. I'm like, you're not gonna take a nap. He just like has to push through, or else you hit a wall. And yeah, there's sacrifices in so many areas with this job.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that whole timeout thing. Like, why did your
Yes.
crews leave the job site? Well, they've been awake
At it
for
for
12 hours or
yes.
13 hours, and they need a
Yes.
break,
Yeah. Or have been at it for 13 hours and hadn't even, yes, they had the break, but like, it's hard to just be like, go to sleep
Right.
itself. You know what I mean?
Right,
Or like
yeah.
have some other commitment or something. And sometimes it's longer than that. It's a safety thing. Like, I'm
Right.
sure. And like how people, when storms happen and stuff like that, like this has really put it into perspective too. Because, people talk on social media and things all the time.
I
And
know,
it's
I
like,
can't read it.
it's so frustrating,
Yeah.
especially now that I live it. Like, they're like, I've not had power for this long. And I'm like, they are working their butts off and you have no idea.
Right.
And a lot of them do now that like, it's like that I personally am connected with because they get it too, because
Right.
I'm in communication with them and they know Stefan and his coworkers and things like that. But
Social media.
yes.
You can take it really personally if they start
can.
talking about, just talking about SMECO. Well, they talk about me all the time too. And,
And I'm sure you have to.
it's just like water off a duck's back. But
Right.
I don't know. You probably don't know what that means.
Well, I'm like
aging myself.
I figured it meant like you just take it with a grain of
Yes,
salt, right?
exactly.
Same concept.
Yes.
Very, very true.
But in the beginning, it was so hard
Yeah.
for me not to take it personally. But for the most part, our other members will take up for our guys all the
Yes.
time. And you have a handful of disgruntled people just like you do anywhere, but we just try to be respectful and listen and go on. But I see the guys as really like first responders,
Yep.
They're not really
Absolutely.
recognized as a first responder, but I believe they are and that they should be.
When you are without power, you don't realize how much you take that for granted. Everything that functions off of it.
Right.
And they're the ones that go out stormy weather, like tornado warning. It literally, the phones go off and it's a tornado warning. He's like, all right, babe, gotta go. And I'm like, you're going to go drive right now? I'm like hiding in the basement with my kids. I actually tell him to come downstairs. He's like, we're fine. Like, if I hear something, I'm going downstairs. And I'm like, all right, I have to remember he's the one that hops in his car, drives over the bridge while this tornado warning is happening, So,
Sure.
but yeah, when like storms, snow, rain, beautiful day. My oldest daughter, she's our 10-year-old. She's like, wait, Daddy, why are you getting called in? It's like beautiful weather. There's sun out here. For the longest time, she only said it associated with storms and yes.
Yep.
So like we would explain to her that even a squirrel, like Stefan always says, squirrels are sometimes our best friend because like if we need that extra couple hours or we want to get some time in, there's a squirrel. It happened.
Or birds.
Or birds,
snakes,
yes.
Or snakes.
Oh my gosh, he's told me
unfortunately.
stories about things that he finds up in the lines, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. So one of the things that I've always found with our linemen is the brotherhood that exists among them. From the wife's perspective, is there kind of a sisterhood with fellow lineman wives? Do you guys communicate? Is there a kind of a bond there that goes on?
For sure. I personally don't feel like I have like a super close knit group of wives. Because I'm sure distance. I live in Calvert, and most of them live in St. Mary's. I mean, I'm sure some live in Calvert also, but who he's really close with and has good relationships with, they all live in St. Mary's, and it's not that far. But like, I live in this small town. We have golf carts. My sisters live in there. My mom lives in
wonderful.
there. His parents live like 5 miles down the street, so we're all like right there. So like, if I'm going over the bridge, it's a hike.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
okay?
I hear you.
So, but like when we have events or like there's work events or weddings or anything like that, we definitely click like that for sure. But it's definitely not like their bond because they're together every day and
Exactly.
they have group chats, they have Snapchats, they talk on the phone, like all the things and
Play golf together.
Play golf together. Yep.
Hunting, fish together.
All the things.
I've been fortunate to be on some of those things, and it's always very memorable.
It's fun, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very fun.
They're entertaining just from this little sides.
Great group.
Yeah.
Great group.
Well, we were talking before we started recording about nicknames.
Yes. So I was gonna piggyback off of that. So when I first got together with Stefan, and he would share stories because he's always got stories, you know, whether it's about the job they just went on or talking with whoever it was that he's working with. That's a fun thing about it too, is like when you're on the cruise, your crew changes and who you're sitting in the truck with. So he like gets to talk and form relationships with everybody, I feel like, you know, at different points in throughout his career. And in the beginning he would be like, Dirt said he was going to come over and do this. He's going to do these lights for us. And then Cone's, I was talking to Cone earlier, and then I was on the truck with Monkey, and I was like, in the beginning, I was like, are these people? Like, what are we talking about here? And he's like, yeah. Okay, so honestly, I don't remember the story with Dirt, but his name's Derek, but they all call him Dirt. And then I was telling, before we started, another one's name's Monkey, and it's literally because he sounds like a monkey. He can make monkey noises. And that was the first one that they told Madeline, our 10-year-old, about. And wait, did you say Poor? What's his actual name? I don't even know his actual name.
Rob.
Yeah, okay.
Rob, yeah.
I know him as Monkey. I don't even know his. I was just thinking, I was like, I don't know Monkey's real name. But Madeline, that would be the one that Madeline would get a kick out of because she was like, maybe like, I don't remember how old she was, but she was like, Monkey, that's so funny. That's his name. So now, if he's like over on our side of Calvert, we golf cart around.
Sure.
And for some reason, it's him that's on the truck, maybe because it's service truck and it's frequent. And we'll see him at whatever job he's at. And every time he sees us, that's the first thing he does is make his monkey noise. And the first time he did it, Madeline was like, oh, and me too. I was like, that's why he's called Monkey. And then like Cone, I think, is Snow Cone. So it was Snow Cone, and then it got cut to Cone. And I was like, what was that? And I think Stefan said he liked snow cones when he was younger or something. And I'm like,
they used to sell them. He used to sell them.
Yeah. But it's just so funny because they have that relationship where they like banter with each other, and it can be the most embarrassing story of their lives. And that's your new name. So one time I was like, what's your name? And they call him Step sometimes. It's short for Stefan. And I was like, that's no fun. Like, you need a fun name. Sometimes he'll go by his last name. But I think it's fun that, like, they pick on each other, but they mean 100%. Well, you know, and then that's their name forever. Like, you better not do anything embarrassing or that's your name for the rest of your life.
We've been doing this with the I called them Botec. I don't remember. So we've been doing working with some of the electrician field young men that are seniors, right? So they come in and intern with us, and then when we have a groundman class open up, if they want to come on, they do. And we've been really lucky. We got 5 so far out of that program, and they're all great.
Yes.
And one of them was on the podcast, and his name's Aaron. And we're like, "What's your nickname? Do you remember?"
Yeah, I remember. It was great.
Pop Tart.
Yep.
Pop-Tart,
I've
yeah.
heard that one. There's
Yeah.
another one that Fuzz is what they call him, and just because of his hair. And I think he was
Yes.
a senior too, Fuzz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he went down to the Lineman rodeo this year, too.
Yes, that's where I met him at.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why that was fresh in my head. But yeah, the stories that Stefan tells me what they do to them out of love, not do to them, but like just pick on them and like play pranks on them. I'm like, leave those poor boys alone. Like they're little. They have so much fun. And I'm like, if they're coming to be a journeyman, that's the next step, then they must have taken it and they loved it too.
Yeah.
But they're funny together.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a great program, a great opportunity for these
Yes.
kids. You know, they're seniors in high school, and college isn't for everybody.
It's amazing.
And now they have an opportunity to have
To start right
a career
there. Yes.
for them. So I really like that excuse me, program.
How long has that been around?
This was our second summer doing it.
Okay, yeah.
Always been a big fan of education. So I'm on the board at College of Southern Maryland.
Okay.
But I used to teach. I was an adjunct professor there for
Okay,
a while
cool.
in the business school, teaching accounting. But
Nice. That's what I did. I graduated I did the 2+2 program, so I did Towson and
CSM,
yeah.
Cool.
And so I stayed there and I got my degree through that.
nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So you've been teaching for 10 years. Has
Yes.
it all been in Calvert?
Auburn and Calvert, all at the same school, and I actually went to that school myself.
Did you really?
My goodness.
Remember when I said we have a small circle in our
Sure.
neighborhood? Yeah. Was born and raised in that neighborhood.
Not a bad thing.
But I love it here.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing, but I'm like, sometimes people are like, you should probably get out some. I'm like, I do. And then I come right back. It's great. Yeah, but so I went to school there. I've been teaching there. I started first grade, then second, and now I'm currently in third. And third's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
They're like at a good age between young enough to care about school and like want to play school, but then old enough to kind of do it on their own. That's like a switch from learning to read and reading to learn.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's great.
They're a fun age.
I have a 5-year-old granddaughter. She'll be 6 in December. And it just amazes me to watch her and listen to her imagination. Like she'll make up a story as she's going along,
Yep.
and she'll sit there and tell me that story for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's awesome. I can't wait for. Well, she's starting late. She's starting kindergarten because her birthday was in December, so
Okay.
she'll be almost 6 when she
Okay.
starts kindergarten.
Yeah. She's starting kindergarten this year.
Yeah.
Is she local?
They live in California.
Okay.
So
okay,
yeah,
Cool.
I don't know which school she's going to, but yeah.
Cool.
And did Stefan grow up in Southern Maryland as well?
Yep.
And did you all go to like elementary school together, middle school?
So he is almost 4. He's 3.5 years older than me.
Okay.
And it's funny because he is the graduating class with my sister. So I
Okay.
have 2 older sisters. He's the oldest and has a younger brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
He graduated with my middle sister, and I actually graduated with his brother. Him and I were friends. My sister and him not so much, but we had his brother and I had like the same group of friends, and I knew about him. We both were in relationships throughout high school without each other, and then he moved like across diagonal from my oldest sister in Drum Point, and we're both single at that time, and I knew of him. Again, we never hung out. We knew of each other just because of our siblings and stuff like that. But I would like intentionally go outside while he was cutting the grass, like make an appearance because I was like, all right, we're both single. Like we're gonna, and sure enough, it did. He it just hit it off from there. Living
Nice.
across from my sister, and
Nice.
it was cool because we knew of each other's families. So
Absolutely. It's a great thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a good story. I feel like with the education component and the SMECO component, that y'all are very tied in with the community.
For sure.
I mean, very tied in. So, is there a certain amount of pride that comes with that? One, being a teacher, 2, your husband's a lineman, and kind of, you all are focused on bettering the community, right?
Yeah, for sure. When you said that, it made me think. I'll piggyback off what you said, but somebody got us. I think it was Dirt, which was Derek. I think it was his wife, and it was the two of them got us a onesie when we had our second child, and it said, "If you can read this, thank a teacher, and if you can read this in the dark, thank a lineman." And the onesie said that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, how
nice.
perfect is that?"
That
It was
is
just
phenomenal.
Like, thank a teacher and a lineman together, because yes, like they're two
That is
totally
perfect.
different lifestyles and different aspects and things that they do, but they both, yes, like you said, like I take pride in it because I know how hard, like they are probably one of the hardest working jobs that I've ever heard of and heard stories about. And like I said, lack of sleep, and just at any time, it's like they're on it. They have to be on it. So like you said, kind of like a first responder. And then in a totally different area, it's like we teachers are sometimes what all of those kids have is a teacher.
Right.
And even if it is not just that, it's like it's hard because we make those connections throughout the year and then have to send them off to the next grade. But they're both very prideful jobs, like I said, different areas, but for sure.
How
Yeah.
hard was it for you during COVID?
Oh my goodness. It was a learning curve
Yeah.
for sure. And we still had to work, and it would be from home, so it would be virtual. And like in connecting it to like Stefan's still working, like there were times, which is also, I forgot to mention earlier, like a huge sacrifice, like when he does come home and try and get some sleep. Have you ever had to keep 3 kids quiet in your house while he's trying to sleep? Because like,
Very
that's
difficult.
so I'm
Very
like, usually
difficult.
we're getting out of here, get out of the house. But like, I'm teaching, and he's coming home from working all night, and I have to have the screen on, and we made it work. We have two different floors of the house and stuff like that. But like that was difficult to navigate. Like when, we would need the kids covered because things were put on hold. So like daycares and providing for our younger kids that aren't in school still had to be teaching, and things had to still continue on. But while the kids were there and while he was still out working, it was a learning curve for sure.
Do you feel like the kids have caught up?
Yes and no. So we saw it. I think this year is coming into kindergarten, or when they were born.
Right.
So we saw it a
Right.
couple years ago when they were affected, like socially, like and academically. I mean, some of the kids thrived. Don't get me wrong. Some of the kids thrived in the virtual setting, still played school well, still loved school, learned what they needed to learn. And some kids can just keep on going. But the kids that need right in front of you and don't have that structure at home, that rely on it at in person at school, like you could definitely tell it was hard. And honestly,
It had to be hard for you to see that too, and try
Absolutely.
to figure out how to help.
Absolutely, because it is really you can't, like, I would like try and reach through the screen, and it was hard to get through to them because that's a lot of, like, in the teaching world, like there's behind the scenes, home lives and things like that we can make a difference as much as we want in school and when they're with us, and then they go home and it's completely different. But like when they were virtual, we didn't have that time with them, or it was harder to get through and see like the growth that would happen and stuff like that, because they had to be willing, or somebody at home had to push them to do it, and not everyone had it.
Right, and somebody at home could have been trying to do the same thing you were trying to do.
Absolutely.
Like their job. And
Absolutely.
they're not used to having their kids
Oh
home
my gosh,
during the day.
it was a gray area for everybody, and just simply the technology piece of it for a lot of people.
Exactly. Just
Like-
being able to connect.
Yes.
Having having an access, and then I just remember my wife telling me about kids who depend so much on school for their food.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
and you don't have that, and
That's a
I
big
applaud
thing.
the
Yeah.
folks for doing the meals
The
and things.
Yes.
drive-bys.
Yep.
Yeah, that was something that you don't think about until you have
And you
to.
don't. You
Yeah.
really don't think like, wow, this is breakfast and lunch. These are 2 guaranteed meals, and because a lot of them don't communicate that,
Right.
or don't know how to communicate that, and yeah, like until you said like until it actually happened, it was like, wow, that's
One of the things we did, we were trying to figure out a way that we could help. So we reached out was it you or somebody else, reached out to the superintendent in each county to see what the needs were and the hot spots, the little Wi-Fi hot spots. So we bought some of those and had a year's worth of, usage on it. And then the schools decided who needed them.
Yeah. And did
So-
it like that.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember that was something because there are many areas in Southern Maryland that aren't accessible by broadband. And so fortunately, a lot of those spots are getting filled now, and there's been more infrastructure put in, but it really showed the inequities in the community
Yes.
when it came to high-speed internet.
Especially because it was unexpected.
Absolutely.
Nobody knew that we were going to have to do that. So really, it opened up eyes to a lot of different things.
Yeah, I was like, it'll be over in a couple of weeks, please.
Yes.
I had just started this job.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Whenever like I said, I had mentioned earlier, whenever there's like a storm or snowstorm or whatever, Madeline, our 10-year-old, always knows that like, and it doesn't happen as much anymore. And I will say because, back to work, more than one kid, because at first it was just one kid, because there's like a 5.5 year gap between our oldest and our middle. So when we did just have our oldest, it was like, I would make like cheesecake dip. There's a snowstorm coming. He'd take the cheesecake dip with him. I know he's going to be gone for like 3 days. We'll see him here and there. And I'll make this meal for them. And so it doesn't happen as often anymore. But she would always be like, what are you making now? Because like we would make some stuff at home to keep. And then he would take it. But like there was like a windstorm one time. Do you remember that? When it was like just wind. There was like nothing else. It was like maybe like 5 years ago now. That was like the longest here that he had been gone for, so we weren't expecting it. But for some reason, that's always like prevalent in her mind and our daughter's mind, and like me, and like just little things like that. And Stefan tells me stories all the time where like he's not on a like days outage. It wasn't a hurricane or anything. They're just restoring power for somebody. Someone comes out, homemade chocolate chip cookies, homemade muffins. Like he's like, you wouldn't believe the things. So really, I just wanted to say that little things like that make their day and help them get through the day, because sometimes they don't. They stop at Wawa real quick to grab something, but sometimes they don't get to eat. So I just think that's something that should be spoken into the air, that like they appreciate and they would love. They don't expect anything, but
Right.
like send them with something after they just worked 13 hours on this job or even an hour on this. Like it's appreciated, and I think it's well deserved.
we get a lot of nice notes from our members about the linemen and
Yes,
what they've done.
and even notes, just like because how we're talking about social media and some people are nasty. Put the good into the air too, because there are people that appreciate it, like 1,000%, and that needs to be spotlighted more than the negativity for sure.
I agree.
Well, I tell you, having a podcast like this with Rachel being here and giving her perspective, I think really will help educate a lot of our members about the work and family life that goes with working here at SMECO, and what a tremendous example of of a teacher and a mom, most importantly, and a wife, and Stefan is a terrific guy. I've played golf with him a couple of times, and he's a great lineman, and we really appreciate all you guys do. So thank you for being here, and
Yes, thank you very
thanks
much.
for sharing your story. It was
Thanks
really
for
great.
having me. It was fun to be here.
Good.
Awesome.
Need it.
You'll have
Very
to
good.
come back again.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Sure.
Good luck
I'll
with
come
the
back.
start of school.
Yes, thank you. I'll have lots more stories to share with the start of the school and all kinds of things.
You'll be
too.
able to tell your students you're on a podcast
Yes.
over the summer.
Yeah.
How about that?
They'll be like, wait,
"Whoa,
are you famous?
100%.
Yes.
Very good.
Well,
Rachel,
thanks again.
thank you.
Thank you so much.